Hi, Andrea here, and you are about to watch the video of the SEO Copywriting Masterclass we had yesterday in Tallinn at Spring Hub. So I apologize in advance for the very weird angle of the camera because my main camera didn't work yesterday, so I got this taken from the side and you cannot really see the slides. So my first suggestion is to go on this link here and download the slides so that you can watch the video and follow on the slides and you understand the whole thing better. And the second thing, this is very long videos, like 1 hour and a half. So you can play it at double speed on YouTube by just going on the settings and select speed and then put 2 or 1.5 so you can play it a little bit faster, maybe 45-50 minutes. And you can do this also if you are on mobile. You just go on the upper right corner and you can find the settings and do the same. So that's it, SEO Copywriting Masterclass. Enjoy the video, leave me some comment, and hopefully I will see you at the workshop on next Saturday. Ciao.
So thank you for being here. I know that time is precious, and now we're going to spend about 1 hour and a half on this topic, SEO copywriting. So first thing, I'm not sure that everybody knows what is SEO copywriting. I feel like that many of you might have come here expecting something and you get something else, but we'll cover this in the masterclass. So what is this thing about? It's about writing, okay? And this is very important because what I'm gonna say today applies to mainly blog posts. So how many writers we have here? A few. And this is good. So you can get direct tips that you can use in your work, and the others can maybe get some new idea into their head. Then this masterclass is about hard work, because I'm not gonna teach you something that it's like easy. It's not a trick. It's hard work. You gotta put the hours in, otherwise you don't see the results. And it's about experiments, because everything we do online changes like daily, like so fast that there is no expert. You can go on YouTube and see videos. You can spend hours watching videos that today are good and tomorrow they don't work anymore. So we constantly have to experiment. Some things are like truths that they don't change. We'll see that. But the tricks that give you unfair advantage, these are replaced like on a monthly basis. So there is no trick. And we'll talk about failure, mainly my failures, because I had to try a lot before getting something good. And so today I'm here telling you something about the failures, but mostly about the success. So telling you what is that works. And as Edison said, I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways it doesn't work, right? Until you find the one that does work. And then you start, hey, I can do this again, okay? So we are talking about this. Now, why SEO copywriting? Why I'm going to propose you this method and not another one? Because there's a bunch of reasons. Let's see them in detail. Let's play a little game. I show you one thing and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? So, what is that? What comes to your mind when you think of Facebook? Come on. Friends. Who said that? Yeah, good. Show you another one. Instagram. What comes to your mind? Photos. Right. LinkedIn. Business. Another one. Twitter. 140 characters, right? Then what we have? This clicker doesn't work. YouTube, videos, Amazon, shopping, products, right? Google, search. Now, you have been good, but you have been severely misled. Because these are nothing of what you said. These are nothing. Okay, let's go home. Okay. Advertising platforms. This is what they are. They are not about friends. They are not about business. They are not about whatever it is that you said. These are all of them advertising platforms. You see? So SEO copywriting, why? Because it doesn't depend on ads. Okay? Now let's go a little bit deeper in this. These these are search engines. Okay? Yeah. Google is the biggest search engine. YouTube is the second one, and then there is Amazon. Fourth is Wikipedia. On Wikipedia, we don't have ads, thank God. So these are 3 search engines. Now look what happens here. You see, this is Facebook. As soon as you come on Facebook, you see something like this. And by the way, these 3 red things, this is advertising, sponsor advertising, right? Popping on your face when you come on the Facebook page. Now, Facebook is shooting at you with a lot of things right off the bat, like this. And look at this. See? See the difference? Google is asking you, what is that you want to know? Tells you nothing. And Facebook is like this. So you have to see the mindset, the difference in the mindset of the person that gets something from Google or gets something from Facebook. Because yes, you can use advertising here, but when I'm here, I'm not in the mood of shopping, I'm not in the mood of searching for something. I'm just reading stuff that my friend posted. And this is the same for all the other advertising platforms, except Google. Here, you go here to search for something, okay? So this is the best, the mood of the person, the searcher, is in the best possible condition for being brought to your website, because they are looking for something, okay? That's why we want to leverage this, and that's why we're talking about SEO copywriting. Now, this is what you get when you click on the result or on the search that you want to make. No, search. Boom, you get a page like this. So there I go how to make money online. And this is what I get. Now the first 3 are ads. Again, this is an advertising platform, so they have to put the ad somewhere, right? And then you get here, after this line, you have organic results. These are results that are ranking because Google thinks they're good, all right? So now you should know that 10% of people, only 10% of people, is clicking on the advertising spots. 90% click on the organic results. And why is that? Because people don't trust ads. When they have the choice, they prefer to click on organic, because if I know that you are here because you want to sell me something, right? So I don't click there. I go here where I know that these people are doing a good job. So I want to listen to know what is that they have to tell me, right? So our job as marketers, as content creators, writers, as businesses, is to end up in this part of the page without paying, without going there, because we know that nobody's clicking there. Now, there are 3.5 billion searches per day. If you know me, I always say this. So this is like 40,000 searches per second. Like you can count them, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000, they keep coming. And out of this volume, 92%, they're still coming, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000. 92% goes on page 1. It means that only 8% of people are actually going to see what's after that, on page 2 and after, okay? So 5% goes on page 2. 1% goes on page 3. If you are on page 4, you are nowhere to be found, okay? You have 0 traffic. And what the hell is this? I'm sorry. And this clicker, do you have maybe new batteries or something like that? Hello. Gotta keep the clicker.
Take it out.
Yeah, I took it out because it's messing the. So we were here. Look at this. This is page 1. This is how the click-through rate distributes on page 1. And here you have page 2. So 11th is the first result on page 2. Now you see that 33% of clicks go on the first result, and only 1% here goes on the first result on page 2. So if you show up in a search, where do you want to be? You want to be here, right? So you want to be here. The first 3, these are good. And note that between the 4th and the 1st, there is a search volume difference, a traffic volume difference of 4 times. So it makes a lot of difference if you are in position number 1 or in position number 5. So that's why we want to do whatever we can to get on the top of the page. Now, there is a problem that everybody else wants to do the same, right? So they estimate that by 2020, there will be 3 times the content we have today on the internet. So take the internet and make it by 3, that's what it's going to be. So there are pages that will have virtually 0 visits because we simply can't find them. It's too much. And this is the time we have to consume content, is not going to grow because we have 24 hours in a day. So at some point, there is too much content. So this is one reason more to make better content, okay? This is why, again, we want to make SEO copywriting. Now, SEO copywriting works. This is what you can get from 0. This is a new website I started 6 months ago, and from 0, now we have this. Now we have a stable 2,000 visitors per month, and it's growing quite a lot. And it's free traffic, it's organic traffic, and they keep coming. Every month you can expose them to your product, to your business, okay? And this is something that everybody can do. It's not rocket science. Look at this. This is another website. In 6 months, from June to December, we increased the volume of traffic by almost 5 times, okay? This is just with writing. No paid campaigns, nothing. This is all organic. So this is what we want to do. And this is what I'm trying to teach you today. Now, why does it work? It works because SEO copywriting, these are 2 things. Actually, there are 3. The first, SEO, allows Google to understand the page, and so they can find it and they can understand if it should rank or not. That's why you need to have good SEO. And then there is the copywriting part, which basically this talks to the humans and leverages the emotions of the humans so that they can feel empathy and identify with the content. And if you don't have this, people will simply say, well, what the hell is this? And go back. And this tells Google that this page shouldn't be ranking, okay? And they put you back. So these 2 things are very important. You must get the visitor to read the entire blog post, because if they don't, then you get kind of negative feedback, okay? But there is another thing that you need to make it work, which is this, content marketing. What content marketing does, and why it's important here, is because it provides value, okay? It solves problems and gives answers to your visitors. So they come, and if they find a piece of content that sits here in this sweet spot, in the intersection between the three, let's say, arts. These are form of art. Let's see if it works. So they find this and they feel satisfied because they're getting value. First, Google proposed them the page. They click, they get there, they get the value, and then they feel something. And they will not go away. They will remember your website, okay? And the SEO copywriting benefits of these three things. So it gets the search volume from SEO, the empathy from copywriting, and the value from content marketing. Now, in the intersection between SEO and content marketing, we satisfy the need, okay? In the intersection between, it doesn't work, copywriting and content marketing, we create trust with the readers, okay? And so on one side we have need, other side we have trust. What happens if you put them together? Engagement, right? So you get people to engage with your pages. And then you see that today your content needs engagement because all the platforms work on engagement. Like YouTube measures watch minutes. So people must watch the videos. If they don't engage, the comments are used to boost up the video, the ranking of the video. Likes, all these kind of things. Same is on Facebook. So people need to engage with your content. If they don't do that, your content is going to rank everywhere, like poorly. So this is why you want to create engagement. Now, talking about blog posts and websites, what is the average time on page? Anyone wants to try? 5 seconds. No, time on page. Like somebody, let's say they don't go away. They stay on your website, they start to read. How much they stay on a page?
1 minute to 2 minutes.
How much?
1
Say.
minute.
2 minutes. Something else?
10 seconds.
No, it's in minutes. Come on, guy. You have to read the page. So, all right. So, 3, 4 minutes, 6 minutes if you're lucky. Look what I got. Gonna smash it. So, now this, I didn't expect that. I don't even know how it's possible. But then I figured people are leaving the tabs open in the browser. They're staying there for days, right? That's cool. I didn't think of that, but it works. So you do it, I do it. So when I find something interesting, I just leave it there, and I keep it there maybe weeks. No, it's always open. When it opens, it's there. And then I know that I want to do something with it, but I don't have time. So I will go back there eventually, not today. And then days are passing, and this number is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know actually how they measure. I think they should do it with the session, but somehow they don't because these numbers keep increasing. So that's pretty cool. And if you manage to get people to keep your tabs open, that's a very nice thing, right? It's engagement. Now, then you start to get this. Emails from people that say, I'm sure you're getting too much emails this day. No, I don't. But he thinks, right? Why? Because he got something from my content, and he thinks that everybody feels the same, right? But it's not. And then, you see, thanks for all the content you're putting out. I mean, this is nice for me because I have to do this every day. So at some point, you need some kind of recognition, right? So when you get this kind of emails, it's nice. Then you get this. Again, I appreciate very much something that someone is offering advice. So here, my content, which is to support my business, so in the end of the story, I'm trying to sell something, it's seen as advice. It's advice, it's not like a pitch, you see? So this is what you can get if you do it right. Now, have a look at this. last story, then we start actually learning something. How many steps are in the Leaning Tower of Pisa? Oh, by the way, this website is about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And I decided to write this in the end of December. I thought, gotta write something. Because if you Google how many steps are in the Leaning Tower of Pisa, you find any possible number under 300, like 250, 293, 277, and so on. So I started to think, okay, but which is the right one? I have like 10 different numbers. I have no idea which is the right source. And so what did I do? I went to Pisa. And I went to count the steps myself because I wanted to know. And I thought, like, if people start to search and they don't stop at the first result, they will notice that something is wrong. So we need to give an answer to this, right? And so I went, and so I took my pictures of the tower, I stand in the queue, so I had this experience, first-hand experience of going into the tower, and then I entered the tower, and then I made a video even. This is me going down the tower, and if you go see the video, this was shot with a 360 camera degrees, so you can see everything. You can count yourself the steps, so you see that I'm not lying. There are 257, which doesn't appear anywhere in the internet except on my page, you see? When I went home, I wrote the article, and I made this. This is on YouTube, on another channel. And I basically explained all these things that I told to you now on this video. Like I was writing the article live, explaining to people why I thought that this article should rank. Because there is no information like this on the internet. So I'm sure 100% that if I write this, it will rank. Okay, today this is the first. If you Google how many steps are in the Leaning Tower of Pisa, you get this, my article. So this is not for bragging. It's for putting in your head that it's a lot of work. And now the question is, are you willing to put the work in? Because if you're not, then I can go away. All right? So you need to think out of the box. You need to search, to research what is that it's there already, and then you have a chance to make it, to get the free traffic. Okay? So let's start. 30 steps. These are divided in stages. So stage 1 is research. Stage 2 is writing. Stage 3 is editing, maybe. Editing. And then we have 4, which is throwing away the clicker. Images. We are too far. Or not. Publish, index, and distribute. Okay? Now, the 30 steps are divided in these 7 stages. If you go and check where they are, boom, you see that most of the work is before you start to write. Okay? It's the research. And there is most of the content creator fail because they start to write something as they think in their head without doing the research. And research, it doesn't mean that you don't know a fact and then you Google it and then you know it and then you write it back. It's not that. You need to find the angle, the right angle for your story. And this is what research is about. And this process takes quite a lot of time. Now we'll see it in detail. So, first thing is find the topic, okay? You cannot start to write something on the topic that you choose. Yet in your niche, you must understand what is that your audience wants to listen, where is the need. So, and for this, you need to start to make some research. So the first thing you can do is go on Google and use Google Suggest. Google Suggest is nothing more than this thing that you get when you're typing there, okay? So when you're typing something there, now I have content marketing here, you get previous other searches. They are not your searches. They are searches from other people. So other people have already searched this. And this is actually a very good piece of intel for you, because if you know that people are searching for that, why don't you write something about it, right? Then you can do the same with Amazon. And this is with buy intention. So this is good because people go on Amazon to buy. So if you find it in Amazon and you see that they are different, you see, look at this. Content marketing for dummies. This is a kind of book, a guide. And you don't find it in Google. You find it on Amazon, you see. Then you can do it on YouTube. And you can do it even on Wikipedia. So if you do this kind of exercise everywhere, you start to get a feeling of what people are searching, okay? And again, why is it important? Because you don't want to write something about something that people are not searching for. Otherwise, you get no traffic. So the point is that you must learn how to pick your battles. You need to fight the battles that you know you can win, not those that everybody's fighting and nobody's winning, okay? So you have to be smart from step one and do this. Then there is this software. It's a website, actually. You go there, you type your query there, your keyword, and what you get is this. This. And this is all the questions that people are asking to Google divided by proposition here, where, which, who, what, when, whatever, right? And this is how I got the idea of making the website for the Leaning Tower of Pisa, because I saw all these questions. Wait a moment, what if I Google them? And then I saw that the pages that were returned by search were nothing answering the question. Like, I don't know, take one, look at this. What continent Leaning Tower of Pisa? Come on. But there is no page that answers this question, even today. If you Google that, you find the general page about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This is an opportunity, because somebody is Googling that. And I want to get them on my site. So I will make a stupid page that explains in which continent is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? It can be short, because it would be the only one. So I rank first, right? It's easy. But you need to do this. If you don't do this, you never can rank properly, because you're trying to get this big word. We'll see that later. But if I try to make a page and rank for this, good luck. It doesn't happen. I have to start from this, okay? So Google Analytics. This is a very big one. And this is something that you learn when you are a little bit wiser. And you need to have some traffic for this already. But what you can do with Google Analytics is you go on Analytics, Acquisition, then you go on Search Console. And to do this, you need to have connected Search Console with Google Analytics. I don't know if you follow me here. Do you know what Search Console is? Okay, let's assume everybody knows. But so you have an account on Search Console, you have an account on Google Analytics, you link them together, and then you start to see the searches that bring people to your website. Not all of them, but many. So you go on queries there, and then you get this page. You order them, you sort them by impressions, okay? And at this point, what do you see? You see all the keywords that people used. They are ordered by impression, and you start to come down. So these are the most popular, right? You start to come down until you find something for which you don't have a page, right? And here, what is the Leaning Tower of Pisa made of? I don't have a page for that. But I got 43 impressions. What does it mean? It means that Google doesn't have anything better to show to people. See? So, what I did 2 days ago, I wrote that page. I'm not going to say now that I rank on page 1, because Google changed the algorithm last week. And now there is a lot of like high C, lot of things are moving. So before it was like really you publish something and in 2 hours you are on page 1. Now I don't know what's going on, and probably will take a couple of weeks to see the change, but I'm really confident that this thing, you can try in 2 weeks to Google this and see where it is. So the idea is that your Google Analytics is already showing you the content opportunities, the opportunities for making content. Look and find the keywords for which you are making impression and for which you don't have a page. And then you make that page, right? Now, you see this as 260 is the search volume. Search volumes are you shouldn't trust them too much because they're just indicative. But look, the number of impressions that I got, it's almost all of them. So I'm really sure that this is a good pick for an article. Now, keyword research in a broader sense. You have to get the feeling for what is working and what is not working in your niche, in your industry, okay? So there are questions you have to ask yourself before you start writing content when you're planning, and one of those is, what is the biggest search volume I can get? Because if I start to write something on a niche, which main keyword has 5,000 searches per month, I mean, that's a bottleneck. Where am I going with 5,000, right? So I want to get something, I want to put myself in a niche where the main keyword has a very big search volume. Now, in the case of Leaning Tower Pizza, the Leaning Tower Pizza is 165,000 searches per month. Just one keyword. Then there are a zillion of other keywords, okay? So that's a good number, like more than 100,000 is a good number. There are keywords with like search volume. Again, search volumes, they're not fixed in stone, like it's a guesstimate. But if you have 500,000, that's a good number. If you have 5,000, that's low, don't go in that niche. Then, which keywords are your competitors targeting? And this you can use some software. Later I will send you a link to some software. And you can use the software to see which keywords others are using. So these keywords are working for your competitors. And it doesn't mean that you should use them, but if they're bringing traffic to them already, it means they work, right? Plus you can steal traffic from them if you start to rank for the same keywords. So this is something you definitely should check. And this is SEO work. It's pure SEO work. So maybe somebody can help you to do this. Then there is like topical modeling. Like what other topics which are not directly related to your niche is your audience interested in? So this is like something that broadly relates to your niche. You can talk about that. Yeah? And if you find that there is some keyword with high traffic which is related to a cross-related topic, you can use that. So these are all thoughts that you must do before you start writing, okay? And then there is the long tail. We need to talk about that. What is the long tail? So this is a chart. And you see that it's very long, it has a very short head and a very long tail, you see? Now, on the right, you have high volume, high competition. And here you have low volume, low competition. Everybody is trying to rank for keywords that are here. And nobody wants to rank for keywords that are here. Because if I start to write something to target a keyword that is 20 searches per month, even if I'm first, we know that the first gets 33% of the traffic, I get what, 6 people in 1 month? So kind of not worth the effort, right? But it's not exactly like that. Because what happens is this. You see, I want to rank for that. That's my long-term game. to rank for that. But I can't go there and rank for it because there is already somebody that is ranking for that, and it's not that easy. So there are other keywords which have lower search volume, and you see here's like 8,000, this is like 1,600, and here you have like 170 here in the bottom. So this was an easy pick because it has a smaller search volume, right? And then you say, oh, you are going after only keywords that have small search volume. Yes, I am, but why am I doing that? Because before you break the ice, you gotta scratch it, right? So when I rank first for this, and then I pick another bunch of those, and I start to rank first for all these pages which have low search volume, but they are correlated to a bigger topic, which is this, right? What does Google think? Yeah, Google start to think that I'm making content about this, right? And my pages are generally doing really well. I keep people 48 minutes on a page. And Google knows that, right? So when I start to write pages, I've done this. I have a bunch of pages on position number 1. Then I start to target some other more difficult keyword, right? I get a chance to rank for that. And as I ranked well for this, because I'm making good content, not because I'm tricking the system, right? People like it, and then they click, and then Google notice, and then I advance. And soon, I will get here. Not here yet, but it's going to happen. And so you see that this is happening, and then all you have to do, you don't tell yet a page for this. You didn't make it. This is like a long-term plan. But at some point, you see that you have enough traffic, everything is mostly ranking on page 1, and then you can take all your nice pages and you can build this. This is like a main article of your website, a very nice page, features, resources, whatever, and you link every page to that page. Okay, what happens? They're boosting this up because all the page authority that you built on this is going to flow into this page through the links, and then magically you are ranking with this. And if you rank with this, 33% of this, right? How much is that? It's like 50,000 just from this in 1 month. Okay? I think at the moment the website that is ranking first for that, they get something like 500,000 visits per month. So that's where I'm going. It will take time. I don't want to steal all their traffic. It's impossible. But if I get even 20%, that's a number. It's a good number. Now, you have to check another thing when you're preparing to make content, and is there SERP availability? SERP stands for Search Engine Result Page. And now Google is making a lot of experiments. So look at this. Ads on top of the page. This we know. Then you have this, which is feature snippet. So Google is proposing you a result which is picked from the 10 results in the page. It's not the first. It has to be in the first 10, but generally it's not the first. It's somewhere in the middle. Then you have suggested searches now. This was introduced a few months ago. So they tell you, maybe you're searching for this, right? And we are not yet at the organic. Organic is down here. So this somehow is hurting our job because it's putting a lot of stuff before people reach the first result. But again, people are actually looking for this, right? So they're moving down through the page. The thing is that these 90% that I show you in the beginning, this 92% that they're clicking on page 1, all these numbers, the 33% of the first result on page 1, these now they're kind of wrong because after this changes, that statistic is not true anymore. So things are changing, but nevertheless, what do? Stop? No, keep trying. Look at this. How tall is the Leaning Tower of Pisa? 58 meters. This is a direct answer. And when you have to fight with something like that, it's hard because people get the answer right on the top of the page. Will they ever go check what's down? In many cases, they don't. If you Google this on mobile, you get the 58 before you press search, enter. No? So you don't even get an impression for that. It's going really bad right now. And then there is this, it's a lot, I don't even know how it's called, but so there is a lot of places where they can click before they come to go in the organic. So when you create something on a keyword, the point of all this discussion is that you don't want to create that page. You see? Why? Because the chances that people are actually coming to see that page is really bad, okay? Does it mean that you shouldn't create it? No. You should be aware that this is a problem, but then it's your choice if it fits your strategy or not. So, yeah, this I said already, this isn't true anymore. But look at this. I did write the page. I'm in position number 3. Okay? And I know that I'm losing clicks because they have there the answer already. So I get traffic, good traffic from this, so I'm quite happy with that. But what is more important, now you should see it, a few slides back, I'm scratching the eyes. I'm telling Google this page matters. Doesn't matter if people are not clicking on that. Google thinks that this page should be here, right? And now I don't know how many, it's up there, but it's like million of results for this query. And Google thinks that this page should be here. And I'm building on the long tail, okay? So that's why I wrote the page. I knew that traffic is not gonna be huge, but I'm gonna make it, okay? Then, next topic, analysis. You have to analyze what is that you're finding, okay? So what you want to do in this process, in this part of the process, you want to open 10,000 tabs. All the things you're searching and finding, you want to open them in different tabs so that you can go to see them later, okay? So search intent. You have to understand what is the search intent when you write something. So search intent is hard to define, but basically what it is, if I look for, I don't know, red shoes, what I'm actually trying to accomplish. Do I want to see red shoes? Do I want to buy red shoes? Do I want to compare red shoes to blue shoes? What is it? So whenever you write something, you search for something, Google makes an assumption of what is your search intent. And they are kind of good at doing that because they have a zillion people and queries that have been already made for the same thing, and they know how the search process ended. So if they have 10 million people that Google red shoes and then they end buying green shoes, probably you see a green shoe. You don't see a red shoe in your results. But so that's what I mean, that you can't start writing something saying, okay, I make a comparison article if when you Google that thing, like red shoes, you find a review of one single product. Like all the 10 first results are reviews of one single product. If you make a comparison article, do you think it will rank? Probably won't, because Google thinks that on the first page belong pages that are making review of one single article, okay? So this is the search intent. Search intent can be comparison, can be like opinion, can be different kind of, or think of the format you can put an article in, okay? So you have to go on page 1 with your keyword and find out what the page 1 is telling you. You open all the results, you read them, and you try to understand why they're ranking. And you have to do something similar to that. You can't make it different because it's a bet. If you make something totally different, Google will not rank it. You can't bias Google, so just go with the flow. Other thing is the type of post, and these are closely related. So what are you going to write? What type of post are you going to write? Again, from the analysis of what is ranking already, you can get ideas, and you can understand what is that people are actually searching for, okay? Then you have problems and topics. So again, you come with a keyword, red shoes, and you see all the content that has been written and it's ranking on page 1, and you start to notice that these pages are addressing specific problems or topics, no? And so you should do the same. You can't come with something that is totally unrelated. I'm not saying you have to copy, even because if you're writing more of the same stuff, probably will not rank. But the ideas, the core ideas that are already ranking, these are good, and you should learn from it, okay? And then length. This is another very important thing. You start to see, you have now, let's say you found 5 relevant results out of 10. You have 5 tabs open. You start to see how long are these articles. Because if you find that if the stuff that is ranking is 200 words, then it's easy. You make something that is 1,000. You are first or second, easy. But if they are already 1,000 words, then it's another story. 1,000 words, you can say a lot of things. So probably there are many topics in subtopics in the same article. Probably they are addressing several problems. One idea, for example, could be that you have now, again, 5 pages open. You can see what's the general feel of all this content that has already been written. You can merge them together and make a bigger post which encapsulates everything, no? But again, it has to be interesting for your audience. You just can't put something together and then nobody wants to read it. Remember the value and remember the empathy. You need to write good, all right? So, step 8. Oh, come on. So, that's coming next. But since it's here, so we have a workshop on Saturday, the next one, where we want to put people together and actually write something. So we talked, we're gonna put 50 places here because we can't fit more people, and it's almost free. We will charge €5 just because we want to avoid that people book and they don't come. So, but if you want to put all these tips into practice and actually write an article and go home with a piece of content that can rank on page 1, so we are doing together this work on Saturday, 24th of March, okay? So you think about that. Now, gotta go back here. Okay, so steps 8 to 10 is plan distribution. So this is very important. It's not something that you can always do, but you should have it on your checklist. Okay? See this as a checklist. You have to cross every item. So what is plan distribution? Do you think that people share content because they just it's nice to click the share button? Nope. They must have some kind of interest to do that. So one trick you can use when you write something, you never should write and then hope that people share it. That's wrong. That's not going to happen. So what you can do instead, when you have these 5 tabs open, or 20, how many it is that you have, you can look if anyone has written something, not a company, like a real person, if you find the name of the author of an article which is similar to the one you want to write, or even if it's not similar, on the same topic, or from a different angle, whatever. But if you find that person, and this person has a number of followers, so you just Google this person, you're trying to understand which kind of fish it is, And you go, okay, this person can actually help me to amplify my content. Because if this person would share my piece of content, then I have people seeing the piece of content, right? So what you can do, you can build on his or her piece of content. So you have the article, you read it, you get in your head some idea of how you can connect what you want to say with what it was said in the article. And then you put his or her name in your article. And like this blah, blah, blah said, in this article, go to read it, it's nice, whatever. And when you publish your article, you're going to give them a tweet. Hey, I just published this. There is your name on it. Go check it out. And they will, because you say there is your name on it. And they will go check it out. And if it's good, they will probably share it. And if there is a link to their article, they will surely share it. So you see, you're building the sharing inside the content. This is like built in. But you have to think about this when you're researching, because otherwise you can't put it after it's published. Now, so steps 8 is identify these people if there are, not always, but sometimes you find this piece of content and you have to grab the opportunity. Then, 9, find Twitter or email of the person. Twitter is really great because you can tweet to everyone, they usually see it, and it's really like informal. Like if you reach them by email, they have to think, what do I do? But the tweet is much easier. Conversation, I'd say. And then you have to create the hook inside your article to use later when you want them to share it, okay? So these are step 8, 9, and 10. And now we are at 11, which is language. This is the last one of analysis, I think. Language, it means that you gotta get the feeling from what you're reading, what is the language you should use in your article. Unless you know the industry really, really well, you can always gather intel reading something else. And basically what you want to do, you want to speak the same jargon that people in that industry are speaking. Because otherwise you will be felt like an outsider and they will not bond with your content, okay? So since you have 5 tabs open, just read and get the feeling for the language. Now, what we have? Nothing. So, strategy. We are still in research. Primary keyword. I have to go faster. Primary keyword now, at this time, you have been Googling this keyword all along, so you should have a very good idea. Maybe you have changed your mind a little bit, because you started with some idea, then you see that actually this is too crowded, I should do something else. And so these primary keywords start to take shape somehow. And now you should have a very good idea. Write it down. Here is where you set it in stone. This will be the keyword for your piece of content. It can be a keyword, like one word. Key phrase can be long like this. So it has to be, for example, in my case, I use these long key phrases. Where is the Leaning Tower Pizza? And this is the title of my piece of content, because I know that people are searching for that. So I just put it there as it is. If yours is shorter, you have to find a way to place it in the content, but you have to write it down. Otherwise, you write, and then in the end you realize that I didn't write even the keyword here, you know? So that shouldn't happen. Next thing is secondary keywords. You always want to have a few keywords, 2 or 3, accompanying the primary keyword. So how do you find these keywords? Again, this is not something that comes from your opinion. You should take a basket and put all your opinions in the basket and then set it on fire. This secondary keyword comes from Google, okay? So you go on Google and you see here, what is the Leaning Tower Pizza made of? And what stone is the Leaning Tower of Pisa made of? That's a keyword, it's a key phrase, okay? And this is something that if I use in my content, Google knows that it's catching 2 birds with a stone, you know? So I have a chance to rank better for this if this is in the content. So when I'm writing this article, at some point, I just echo this in the content. So what stone is the Leaning Tower of Pisa made of? And I started with this in the title, right? So you see I'm collecting data, and then I put them in a structure of the article, and then I'm building around it, okay? Other way you can find secondary keywords is from the suggested searches that we have seen before. So this is the same thing. Just copy them and put them in the draft of your article. And then there is this. In the very bottom of the page, before the numbers of pages, you have the searches related to. There, you see. Searches related to. And you have different keywords that Google is proposing to, like, people are searching even for this. So if you again copy this and put it in your draft, then you can see if you can place them somewhere. And again, I wouldn't pick more than 3, but it's nice to sprinkle your content with these keywords. It helps a lot. Now, these numbers you're seeing here is a Chrome extension. It's called Keywords Everywhere, and it gives you search volumes. So it's very handy because you see that this has 4,400 searches per month, while this is like 720. So it's better if I use that than this. There is more search volume. Okay. Then, at this point, you have a topic. You have a feeling what type of post you are going to write. You still have the 5 tabs open there. And you have a primary keyword, the secondary keyword. You have the influencer hook that see in your head. And then you need to define the structure of the article. So basically what I do and what I suggest you should do is to make bullet points. You make bullet points of the topics you need to discuss in the article, okay? And then you're going to expand each bullet point. And it's like if I start and I think, okay, I have to write an article which is 1,000 words, like this, it's hard. It's not easy. But if I make 5 bullet points, then I have to write 5 mini articles of 200 words. That's easy, okay? So if you segment it, it helps you to stay on track with the keywords, with the topics, the problems that you already found, and then it's simply work of writing something good. You see, I want to show you, well, this thing is SEO, very important. So you want to have only one title in the page, not more than that, because otherwise Google doesn't understand what's happening. And if you use WordPress, this is already taken care of, but this not always depends on the template you're using. H1 is like the title. You should have only one in the page, okay? So let's say you're writing this article, 30 tips for a killer post to wipe out your competition. This is what I'm teaching right now. So the first topic is research. So this has tag H2. It's like a subtitle, okay? Then you have find a topic. We saw it as the first bullet point of research. This is H3. And then you have Google Suggest. Come on. Which is H4, okay? And then I have a bunch more of H4, and then I have again H3, and then go back. So this is to say that you have to use these tags correctly, because this is up to you in the editor to use the tags. WordPress doesn't do it automatically. The only thing it does is the title, and then all these tags you have to put yourself. Okay, so always use the tags because it helps Google understanding what is the point of the article. Okay, now I have an example here, which is this. So this is a page. The query here is Leaning Tower of Pisa center of gravity. So you know that the Leaning Tower leans. And and it doesn't fall. Why it doesn't fall? Because the center of gravity falls within the base. That's the scientific explanation. So people are Googling for that. And I had this page where I explained this concept, and it was on page 1, but it was kind of 5th position, something like that. And then I was going through my analytics, and I saw that I'm ranking for this center of gravity thing. I was like, okay, how do I push this up? I mean, the page is already super good. I can't make it better. What do I do? And you see, now I have this title. This is H2 title. It's like a subtitle. And this is today the center of gravity. When I launched the page, it's all about gravity. You see? This is the only change I made to the page to put it from 5 to 1. See? So this is the importance of a subtitle, and it can totally change the game. So you have to use the titles correctly. You have to think what you put in the titles. And then later, of course, later you can optimize. Again, from your analytics, you can see what's almost there, and you can give it a push, just going to put the keywords where it belongs, okay? But you couldn't do this if you didn't have the title at all. You see, like there are people that are posting blog posts that are like 1,000 words, no paragraphs. That's very hard to work with these things because you can't help Google to understand the topics inside the article. So then we have title, headline. And again, this is the title. And you have to use power words in the title. Power words are words that provoke emotions. Emotions can be many things. Can be fear, disgust, love, whatever, as long as it is an emotion. And it has to lead people to make the click. That's the point. Because we want people to click on the URL, on the link. Otherwise, it doesn't bring us any visitor. Then there are tools. If you Google headline analyzer, there is a couple of tools that help you to write good headlines, okay? So this is not a particularly good one. Just made it up. URL is the same story. So we are still here. We haven't started to write nothing, you see? We are still here thinking what we write. And URL is important because together with the title, it's the only thing you see in the search results. So now I have to decide which one do I pick. And the only thing I see is the title, the URL, and the meta description. So it doesn't matter how good is your piece of content if your title is not on spot and your URL is not on spot. So you gotta make them really, really good. And we know that more or less this is the percentage that Google expects to find when people are clicking. And what happens if it goes like this? Say that you are this guy here, but you don't get 17% of clicks, you get only 13 because your title sucks. What happens? Well, Google see that you are underperforming, and they put you down, and they put this guy up. So it's mind-blowing, it's a breakthrough. Because if you can manage to get clicks, whatever you write, you are starting to rank better and better and better. See? So you have to spend time during your research to care about your titles and URL. And URL, you want to make it short. There is a study from Backlinko. I don't know if any one of you knows Backlinko, Brian Dean, but he made a study with 1 million pieces of content, and they found out that the shorter URL actually is correlated to ranking higher. So short and descriptive, if you have something that like this is what you get in WordPress after you write the title, like the title with dashes, like very long. So you don't want to use this, you want to write something like this. Tips for posts to beat competition. I still understand what it's about. It's not as long as this. Plus, if tomorrow I want to edit this article and I want to make 60, I can do it without changing the URL. Okay, still the same URL, I still get the same traffic, I just add more things inside. Then writing, finally we are there. So we are out of research now, we start to write. Writing, you expand on the structure you already created. This is exactly what is happening here now. It's exactly like when you have to write. You have to spend a lot of time up front thinking. Now we are talking, but thinking. And then you sit in a quiet place, you face the wall, you turn down kill the phone, and it's you and your page. And you put down all the thoughts that you have in your head, okay? Filling these bullet points you made. So expand on the structure.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So you can have a different title, different from URL.
Yeah, you can, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
you should.
But not you should, but if your title is quite long, it's better to make a shorter URL. There's no need for the URL to be...
Doesn't it automatically take it from the title?
Yes, it is, but what I'm saying is that you can edit it to make it nicer. So it doesn't have absolutely to be the same. It's like, the URL could be 1, 2, 3, but you want to make something that is descriptive. No, if the user reads the URL, they must have the feeling that they're going to find something they like. So don't take the URL as long as the title, just make it a little shorter. And yeah, so that's the point. So make simple sentences. This is important because you want people to read and you want people to get involved. You can't achieve this if they have to think in the meantime. It has to flow, okay? So you have to really make it short, like one sentence shouldn't be more than 2 lines. And now I ask you a question. This is something I discovered recently and I was like really blown away from this thing. What is the purpose of a sentence?
To give a meaning.
Meaning? What? The meaning. That is not. Yes, exactly. The only purpose of a sentence is to drive the reader to read the sentence after that. And I was like, wow. And it's true. Because if the sentence that delivers meaning breaks the reading, what did I achieve? Nothing. So you have to think like firefighters that have a bucket of water and they have to pass the bucket over and over to reach the fire. So your goal with a piece of content is to put off the fire. And the reader has to get to the bottom of the page, because if they don't, there's no business, okay? So, yeah.
Sorry, where's the balance between quality if you're kind of dumbing down your article?
No, it's not. You're not dumbing down the articles. You are like, you're trying to drive the reader. It really, if you start to write thinking about this, it really changes the way you write. The place where I read this thing, it's like a course, a blogging course that I've taken. And this guy writes, I don't know, 10,000 words articles, really, really long, but you can't stop reading them. It's really, I can't. I read them usually when I'm in bed. So I'm super tired, but I need to read the entire article because he's writing so good that you can't stop. You need to get to the end.
Is it like the same flow all the way through, or you start really simple and then grow more intricate throughout the article?
You start strong because you have to keep their attention. Like you start the article with, I'll tell you what. And I'm already, wow, what is it? Right? So if you start the article with something that, once upon a time, many years ago, ciao, I'm already on Facebook. So you have to come with something. On my emails, for example, I stopped saying hello. Now usually I hello, I don't know, Susan, whatever, with a name. No, I removed it. Now I start, boom, straight to the point. And I make it interesting. I try to really, because when you write an email, you see in the preview of the email, you already see the text. If I don't get to the point immediately, people won't open the email. Same thing as the title and meta description in search. So if you make the start of the email interesting, they will open it, otherwise they won't. So that's the kind of thing you want to create in your content. You come strong, then you have a little piece where you give meaning, and then you come strong again, otherwise you're losing them, okay? So you have to make simple sentences. Keep it 9, 10 grade. Don't write college or university, because, I mean, why is that? Of course we want to write nice, but the problem is that people on the internet, they are not like university professors. Like 99% of them, they can't read complex stuff, so you need to write for everyone. And so you want to keep it 9th, 10th grade. I'll show you how to check that. Then you have to make it personal. You have to write, and this is very hard if you write for corporate, because usually now they want it to be about the company, but sorry, that doesn't work. So you have to make it personal. You have to try to give your own point of view. So this works really well if you're blogging for yourself, or if you have your own website and you have your own product, then you talk, okay? But again, remember empathy. People need to connect with what you're writing. You can't make them connect if you are talking of a third person. They don't relate to that. And take a position on the topic. If you manage to get people pissed, it's good. They leave comments, okay? I recently managed to get people pissed, and first I was sad, but then we started to actually have a conversation about this thing, and it turned out to be a nice thing. So don't be scared to take a position. And then tell stories, okay? This is a basic thing. You don't want just to report facts. You need to put them in a kind of form that it's a story, because people like stories. Since we discovered the fire, we gathered around the fire, we started to tell stories, and this is how it's deeply embedded inside our DNA, storytelling. So you gotta get good at storytelling. Use details in your piece of content. You want to put a lot of details, because details make the story real, okay? And use metaphors, because it's easier for people to understand if they can anchor this new information to something they already know, okay? If I tell you that one rocket is 90 meters long, you know? And then I tell you one rocket is 1 football field long. What is better? A football field, because oh shit, it's long, right? 90 meters, I don't really get how long it is. And then write as it comes. Don't stress over the wording while you're writing the draft. While you're sitting against the wall with the phone off and you're writing, just write as it comes. And then later you edit it. Now, if you want to read a really nice book, this one is your pick. This is Stephen King on writing. A memoir of the craft. It's a book that he recently written, and it's really, this is kind of hard to put down when you start. Same thing, you gotta finish it. You have to, especially the end is really good. And it tells how you are supposed to write for people to get deeply involved with your content. So it's a very nice reading for you if you're writing. Now, editing. After you have written, next day, preferably, because otherwise your head is all over the place, you just open it again and cut. You have to cut it. If you come with 1,200 words, you have to cut 20%, okay? You have to leave the things which are absolutely necessary. And then, of course, this is the moment when you start to rephrase a few things that don't sound really nice. So you are editing and you're cutting. This is a very important step. Then next thing, which almost nobody does, but I find it really, really helpful, bold and for skimming. You notice that when we read today, we don't really read, we scroll. And if you make things bold in your content, people should be able to understand the meaning of your text without reading, only going from bold to bold. If you manage to do that, that's a really, really big plus, because people are going to skim, they get the idea, and then, okay, I'll read it. And then we go back and start reading. If it's all gray at the same way, you just don't understand nothing, click back and go home, okay? So this is a very nice trick. Plus, Google puts emphasis on bold. So if you have, for example, your keyword somewhere that comes in the text, you can bold that and tells Google, this is important, okay? You can play with this bold. I really like this thing, and I spent some time doing this. Word count. So now it's where the magic is made. This is one of the most important things. You have to make sure that the article is long enough. Again, you still have the 5 tabs open from the previous day. You go on wordcounter.net and you paste your article in here. Boom. Okay? Copy paste the entire text. So what you have here, you have on top there 1,135 words. Easy. They tell you how many words. Then they tell you the reading time. This is interesting. So it takes 4 minutes to read this piece. And this is like the time on page you should expect it at least 4 minutes, because otherwise they are not reading, right? Then if they stay more, it means that it's a good piece of content. Other thing you see from here is this, the reading level. College graduate, not good. It's not good. This was an interview, I wrote this 2 days ago. And I mean, the guy is CEO of a company, so the kind of language, this was going like on LinkedIn, you know, so kept a little bit higher. But generally, if you write for web, you want to keep this, you want to see 9th, 10th grade here. And then you have this keyword density. And this is where most of writers fail. And now I'll show you how to trick that. So this is still wordcounter.net. This is what you get in the sidebar. Keyword density. They have 3 stages. 1 keyword, 2 words, and 3 words. Okay? Triplets. Now in this piece I have automation 24 times. Then I have factory, 9. Then I have commands, design, house, and productivity. What this article is talking about?
Automation.
This was an article about automation in production of houses. So from this was not optimized because I just wrote it for another purpose. I didn't want to rank with this. But if I need to optimize this, I have to rephrase many things in the content because I want Google. Google is a machine. It understands numbers. It doesn't understand phrases, right? So I don't want a percentage, like a keyword density is a percentage number. And if you go on the internet, you find a lot of talks about keyword density. But what you really should care about is that the things that are important in the article should be on top. And they should be separated from the long tail of keywords that you have in the content. So you see these two are they meet these criteria. So, but it's not exactly how I would optimize this article. This needs to be worked if you want to make it rank. If you go and make it by 2, then you see a different picture. You see that House Factory is up. Then this is the name of the guy I was interviewing. And these are almost perfect because they're just a bit above the others. So it's not forced, but Google can understand what's the point of the article, okay? So the 1 keyword is a bit off. The 2 keywords, the 2 words keyword is almost okay. And then we have the third, maybe, yes, which is new house factory and blah, blah, blah. And you see that this is only 2. I could improve that. I could make it 3, okay? So this is to show you the thinking process that is behind optimizing the article. You have to, for example, if you want to optimize one of these, you have to ask yourself, okay, where can I place this once more in the text? and you have to start to look at the sentences, and it shouldn't be forced, it should belong there. So perhaps you have to rephrase the thing to make it fit. But this is a step in the process that is probably the most important step, because if you don't do this, Google will not understand which are the important keywords in the content, okay? If you get this right, you are ranking. So you repeat this, and then edit and cut until you get it right. The keywords must be correct. And then we go to images. So this is quick. It's quick, but I put it in this checklist because usually we don't care about images too much. But it's very important because people are visual. People look at the image. If they don't like the image, they click back. They don't even start reading the content. So what I do, if I have it here, I put some time on the images, okay? And I try to find an image that really matches the content. Sometimes I even choose the image before, and then I write the content on the image. Because if they see the image and there is something that they read something that is totally different, they have this kind of disconnect. But if they see the image and I start maybe with something that fits on the image, no? Like with a sentence about something that is in the image, they have this kind of feeling that the thing is coherent. It's very well done. Okay, so images are important, and you should think about that. So finding images, you go on Google and you Google for something, go on images. Look for a puppy, you get all this bunch of images. Can you use them? No, you shouldn't. So one thing you can do, you can go on tools, and here you select label for use, and then you get all the images which are in theory not copyrighted. Okay, so this you can use. Might be that some you still cannot use, but it's better. But you see that the quality is much worse. I mean, the other pictures were nicer. So my suggestion is that you go here, pixabay.com, and they have free images. And it's not a huge selection, but usually you find something that fits your article. The best thing is that you use your own image, okay? So that if you can do that. Otherwise, you pay for the images. Then optimizing the images is very important. Quick overview on that. So you have to pick a size. If you have a blog, if you have a website, you can't put every image a different size. Just pick one size and stick with it. If you have a vertical image, this is the size. If you have a horizontal image, this is the size. And you always edit the image the same way. This gives consistency, and people get used to your style, okay? Then next thing, the size matters a lot. The size the size of the file. So keep an eye on that. Don't make it too big. And then finally, the most important thing is the file name. Don't use something like that ever, okay? Because you want to optimize for search. You want to optimize for people. Then this is a white puppy, right? And this is a jumping, white puppy jumping, and this is a blurred background. So make a damn name out of it, okay? It's easy. And since you are at that, put your website on the very beginning. So this way, when people go on the Google image page, when they hover on the page, the first thing they see is your website name, see? And this could bring you traffic, okay? If this is the name of the file, it will never bring you traffic. So, publish. We are almost done. Meta description. So as we have said before, this is the meta description. This is one of the properties of the article in WordPress or whatever editor you're using. Now, Google can change this meta description as they want. They just pick a piece in the content and just slap it there. Boop. But you don't want to get it wrong. Often happens that if you duplicate an article on your website, if you don't change the meta description, you have the meta description of the previous article. And so you are confusing everything here. And so you have to spend a little bit of time making a nice description. Now Google upgraded the meta description from 160 characters to over 300. So if you are something in between, it's good. So 300 characters to make your meta description. And it is on your checklist. And now it's time to hit publish. You have done it. You have the content, it's nice, and you push the button. But as Ran Fishkin says, there is no reward for hitting publish. He is one of the biggest masterminds of SEO today. And there is no reward for hitting publish. The article has to work, actually, because otherwise all the work you've done is useless. So as soon as you publish the article, first thing you have to do, you have to go on Facebook Debugger. Facebook Debugger is a tool, and all it does, you paste the URL of your article in there, and it shows you how it looks like when people share it. The last thing you want is that your article is good, people share it, and fuck, there is no picture showing, because Facebook doesn't understand the page, okay? So you need to check that before, and if there is a problem that your picture doesn't show or your description is wrong, then you have to go fix it before you share it, right? So this is the tool to do that. And the same thing you do with Twitter.
So where is that tool on Facebook?
Just Google it. It's Facebook Debugger. It's a long URL. And Twitter card is the same. So you go on the Twitter card validator, and you make sure that if you tweet the article, you get an image and you get everything right. And now you say, we share it. No, now we index it. Now we have to make sure that Google finds it, because Google crawls the internet whenever they want. And if you let it to the case, it might be that it's weeks before Google understands that there is a new page on your website. So what you do, you go on Search Console, you go on Fetch as Google, you set it as mobile always, because now Google prefers mobile indexing, and you put your URL here. And then you go fetch and render, and then you wait forever. Now I don't know why it's taking longer and longer to do this thing, but you wait until you have this button here, and then you push the button, and you come on this page. You want to crawl this URL and its direct links. You say that you are not a robot, and you are done. Go. Now Google will get your request. They will crawl your website. They will index the page. And usually this happens pretty quickly. Now, there was this change last week, and I don't know, now it's taking longer. We'll see if it's stabilized or not. But you have to do this, otherwise your page will never, or at least will take a long time for the page to be indexed. And now it's time to share it. Finally, we are there. So you have your article, you share it, and make sure that everybody knows there is a new article. Otherwise, you don't get any traffic. Last step, you have to tweet the influencer. You remember? You took the Twitter, you wrote his name or her name in the article. Now it's time to reach out and say, hey, I have this great piece of content. Your name is on it. If you want, you can, whatever, share it. And then maybe they will do something. So now everything is done. Give it time. Don't expect things to change tomorrow. Usually it takes a couple of weeks for Google to understand where your piece of content belongs. And keep doing it, because one piece of content is not going to cut it. You remember this long tail. You need many articles to start moving the train. I got to push a lot. So while you are waiting for this to rank, you have to make more. And then this is what's going to happen. So for many months, nothing. Like really nothing. I have on this website there are about 12 articles. It's not huge. I wrote everything at once, and then I waited, and then I was like optimizing pages as I started to get traffic from people. on the analytics. And then suddenly, at the end of the year, it started to pick up. And now it's growing. We'll see where it goes. But you never have to stop. I mean, you need to have a plan and then execute a number of pieces of content, okay? So, last slide. This is very important. You have to remember, I said it in the beginning, that experimenting is really the key. You have to build something, you have to publish it, and then you have to measure what happens, and then you have learned something, and then change it, okay? And if you do that, slowly you start to go towards the page 1. What you see is that you start to have a bunch of pages ranking in maybe second page, third page, but if you optimize that, they can be pushed, and slowly they start to rank on page 1. So, I remind you again, this workshop we have on Saturday 24th. Basically, what we are going to do this together, live. People sit down with their computer, we do the research together, we get the idea of the topics together, and then you start writing. And the workshop is from 10 to 3, so 5 hours. And in 5 hours, you should be able to go home with a piece of content that it's done right. So this is an opportunity for you to ask questions if there is something you don't understand in the process. It's an opportunity to learn from the others. And I think it's really cool if you can make it to come. But if you come, be prepared to write something, because just coming for looking around is not a good idea, okay? So last, get the slides. So you go there, you can put your email. I will bombard you with the emails. No, I'm kidding. So you get the slides, and then you will get also links to all the software that I mentioned during this presentation, and even those that I didn't mention. Okay, that's it. Thank you.